I'm Troy Alexander for Child Support Game Over, and today I want to talk with everyone about The Hague and its place in this child support industry and the destruction that our country is facing based upon this. And we're going to start with the Hague Convention of Private International Law, Convention on the International Recovery of Child Support and Other Forms of Family Maintenance. The objective under Article 1 of the present convention is to ensure the effective international recovery of child support and other forms of family maintenance. This is key in that this is the authority they are using to come after unwed fathers who never had a contract with the state, never had a marriage license, to bring an order of child support against them. Under Article 2, Part 4, the provisions of this convention shall apply to children regardless of the marital status of the parents. Now remember, the federal government could not intrude on the parent-child relationship, and there was no contract for the state to get involved. They could only bring you in if you abandoned a child, if the child, they were looking out for the well interests of the child in cases where the man left the woman, abandoned her and the child, and refused to be responsible for his child. They have gone from that, which is a just system, that men need to be responsible for their offspring, to this unjust, evil, destructive system, which is destroying families, children, this country, and turning men into food with peonage, slavery, and everything else. So keep in mind, this is the Hague Convention that said the provisions of this convention shall apply to children regardless of the marital status. So now the government was faced with how do we implement this? So they created Title 40 of the Social Security Act. And they said, look, we're here to recover welfare. But as a little side thing within that, they created international support enforcement. They made this part of Title 4D of the Social Security Act. But before we get to that, I want to show you something. This is a press release, basically, from a state representative from Wausau, Wisconsin. And he's bragging that he has brought forth this bill, SB 173, to make necessary changes to state law to harmonize Wisconsin statutes and federal law to ensure that the state of Wisconsin continue to receive child support enforcement federal funding. And in 2014, Congress passed the Preventing Sex Trafficking and Strengthening Families Act. And really, what they could have done was just said the excuse of sex trafficking that everyone can get behind and Destruction of Families Act. This act requires all states to enact any amendments to the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act that were adopted as of September 30th, 2008. And states must do this by January 1st, 2016. Why? Because the Pretender-in-Chief, the Nigerian Pretender-in-Chief, signed the Hague Convention. The Uniform Interstate Family Support Act of 2008 amendments integrate provisions of the Hague Convention on the international recovery of child support and other forms of family maintenance. The Hague Convention created uniform, simple, inexpensive procedures, can we say, violating your due process, for establishing, recognizing, and enforcing child support and family maintenance obligations in international cases. Now you're saying, how does this affect you? Your case isn't international. And what I want to show you today is that your case most likely is international and how it is international. We're going to go to 45 CFR 301. Again, the state plan and approval and grant procedures for the administration for Children and Families, Department of Health and Human Services. This is all part of this Title 4D. And we come to definitions. This is the implementation of the Hague Convention. And we come down to central registry. And we've covered this before. It means a single unit or office within the state IVD agency which receives, disseminates, and has oversight responsibility for processing incoming interstate IVD cases, including the UIFSA, which is Uniform Interstate Family Support Act, which again is the implementation of the Hague Treaty. Now we know that this central registry or central authority is the Office of Child Support Enforcement. Come down to office. Office means the Office of Child Support Enforcement, which is a separate organizational unit within the department with responsibility for administration of the program under this title. Now let's get to state. We're going to get where the rubber meets the road. The state, definition of state, and this is key, and you need to understand this. I want you to really pay attention. State means the several states. Does that mean Wisconsin, Illinois, Texas, New York, Alaska? No. State means the several states. The District of Columbia, it's listing who the states are. The District of Columbia, which is this is the United States Corporation. This is running under the United States Corporation, which is including the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. These are the possessions of the United States, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and America Samoa. Period. Nothing else. The state plan means the state plan. The state means the several states, and it lists the several states. The District of Columbia, I'm saying it again, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and America Samoa. Not Wisconsin, Illinois, Texas, New York, Alaska. That is not a state according to this. If Wisconsin, we'll take Wisconsin, is not a state for this, then what is Wisconsin? Wisconsin is a foreign reciprocating country. And that is found under Section 459A, which again is this 42 U.S.C. 659A. This is part of the whole Title 4D, the International Support Enforcement. This is what they're running under. This is for the Hague Convention. Remember, the Hague Convention came in like 1958. 1974-75, they brought about this Title 4D because they figured out, hey, we'll say it's for the recovery of welfare because the federal government can't intrude on your parent-child relationship, and for international support enforcement. So what is the state of Wisconsin or the state of Illinois or the state or even the counties? This is getting into the counties. Your county is a foreign reciprocating country. Gets even worse, but we'll go back to foreign reciprocating countries here. What is a country? So we're looking at the country means a foreign country or a political subdivision thereof. So let's say for this, the state of Wisconsin has been deemed a foreign country or the political subdivision thereof, which means your county is a country. Your county is a country, a foreign country, declared to be an FRC. Who's making that declaration? The declaration is made the Secretary of State with the concurrence of the Secretary of Health and Human Services is authorized to declare any foreign country, namely your county, or political subdivision thereof, to be a foreign reciprocating country. If the foreign country has established or undertakes to establish procedures for the establishment and enforcement of duties of support owed to obligees who are residents of the United States, and such procedures are substantially in conformity with the standards prescribed under Section B. But again, we'll go back to this. It's the Uniform Interstate Support Act that takes care of coming into conformity with the standards. And the Uniform Interstate Support Act is integrating provisions of the Hague Convention on the international recovery of child support and other forms of family maintenance. They have declared your county to be a foreign reciprocating country. Do you understand that? If you don't, ask questions. We want everyone up to speed on this so we can fight this unholy system. So they are a foreign reciprocating country, and keep in mind, or a political subdivision thereof to be a foreign reciprocating country. And we'll go back to here. It gets even worse. This foreign country means foreign country or political subdivision thereof. Think your county declared to be a foreign reciprocating country under Section 459A of the Act, and any foreign country or political subdivision thereof. Now we're talking a political subdivision of your county. Political subdivision means legal entity of the state as defined by the state, including a legal entity of the public political subdivision so defined, such as a prosecuting or district attorney. Think about that. Let that one sit into your mind. They're saying those lawyers in that tribunal are foreign reciprocating countries. Hello. This is the Hague Convention being brought down on you. And in Wisconsin, that's done under the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act, or Wisconsin State Statute 769. These are tribunals, which describes the tribunals. These are not circuit courts. This is key to understand. Because, and again, we'll come under this. This is 769. This is when they're instituting the law. And a country or political subdivision has been declared under the law of the United States to be a foreign reciprocating country. These are foreign support orders from a foreign tribunal. But let's get back to Wisconsin State Stat. For Wisconsin, if you're in Wisconsin, you're going to love this. And I'm betting your state is something similar. Under Wisconsin State Stat 59535B, the county child support agency under paragraph A shall electronically enter into the statewide database relating to child and spousal support payments that is operated by the Department of Children and Families the terms of any order made or judgment granted in the circuit court of the county requirement payments. And here they say under 769. They are trying to con you into believing this is a circuit court operating. This is not a circuit court, as I showed before. This is a tribunal, a foreign tribunal, operating under the Hague Convention. That is why it cannot be a judge of a court. But guess what? They can only enter these into the statewide database, these support orders made by a circuit court, made by a circuit court of the county. I'm not a lawyer. I went to public school, so don't take my word for it. Study it yourself. But this seems to be telling me that your county child support agency is unlawfully entering, at least in the state of Wisconsin, your support order, which is being made by a foreign tribunal. Please like and subscribe, and hope to see you on the next video. And below is information in the description on how to order our book, Child Support Game Over. I highly recommend you get that. Learn what's happening to you. Hopefully we'll see you next time.